Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way for your Watford versus Wolves match preview. Very excited for this just because Premier League football is back again. The international breaks I always find quite long, quite boring. The England game last night against Poland wasn't that great. I've got to be honest. Great goal by Harry Kane, but yeah, England very boring. Why we play with two CDMs with the squad we've got for England, I have no idea. But we're not here to talk about England. We're here to talk about Watford, the best club in the world. Quite a bit to get into today. Won't keep you too long. Probably be here for about 20-25 minutes max. But one of the main topics is Francisco Sierralta potentially being banned for the game by FIFA and the Chilean Football Association. Of course, we'll touch on Wolves and the threats they have, mainly Adama Traore, and obviously Troy Deeney as well, going to be making his debut for Birmingham City tomorrow at home to Derby. So I think that they've actually opened up the third stand at Birmingham. They finally got, I think they had an asbestos issue or something like that. I think they were cleaning out something, but they managed to open up the third stand. So Troy Deeney potentially should be making his debut for Birmingham tomorrow, live on Sky Sports against Derby. And lastly, just quickly, we'll go through the team news for the game and kind of talk about what players are returning and what players are kind of still out injured or on the periphery of the squad. But we'll start off with Francisco Sierralta. I'm sure you all know about this situation now. It looks like he will be banned by FIFA and the Chile Football Association. There's nothing Watford can do about that. But it's just very frustrating for me because this situation come about because obviously Francisco Sierralta is a fantastic player. Chile called him up to the squad, and Watford said no, we are not going to send Sierralta out to Chile because if we did that, because of UK government rules, he would have to isolate on return. That means he would then miss, I think it was 2 or 3 Watford games potentially. Obviously Wolves, the cup game, and I think Norwich away he might have missed as well. So it would have been quite a big impact on Watford if we sent him out to Chile. So like a lot of other Premier League clubs with their Brazilian and South American players, Watford said no, they can stay in England. And then obviously he would have been able to feature against Wolves. Now, what Chile have said is that because we didn't release him, there's a clause in this FIFA rule that means that Chile can trigger this regulation. That means Watford wouldn't be able to play Francisco Sierralta for I think 5 days from when the clause is triggered. So if that gets triggered and Sierralta can't play, it means he won't be able to play for 5 days from whenever it's triggered. So I think he would miss the Wolves game definitely, and potentially the Stoke Carabao Cup game as well. I see Ollie in chat. Hope you're doing well, mate. But yeah, it's a big blow for Watford. Obviously, we're quite light at centre back anyway, so having a player banned for some stupid regulation is not really what we want. I know Xisco mentioned it in his press conference today. I'll see if I can find the quote actually. But Xisco basically just said they're in discussions. They're in discussions with the Premier League. I'll see if I can actually get this up now. Just bear with me. But yeah, for me, I just find it very frustrating. I might not be able to find this actually. I think it's on the Sky Sports website actually. But yeah, I think it's a stupid regulation. It shouldn't really be there. It's the UK government rules that have prevented us sending him out really. But apparently it is a FIFA rule that that if you withhold a player from going out on international duty, if the home nation triggers this regulation, they get banned for a minimum of 5 days. So I'm just getting Xisco's press conference quotes up here actually. But yeah, it's not great. And obviously, as I said, we are light in that department as well. Matty Pollock's gone off on loan. Craig Cathcart's quite injury prone. Schuster Kong's been out with Nigeria. And Christian Kabasele, again, isn't the most reliable. So obviously, Francisco Sierralta really is the guy for us in defence. And if we're going to now miss him because this regulation is just so stupid. So I've got the quote for you now. And he said, we're waiting to hear from FIFA. I spoke with him about this situation, but you can do nothing. Now is the moment for wait, and we will see what happens. If you ask me, my opinion is to try and give a fair result for all of the teams, because this is very important. So that's what Xisco said about the situation. Brazil are not doing it for Richarlison, because for some reason there's some good relationship between Everton and Brazil, because they let Richarlison play in the Olympics. So it's just a bit strange, because Brazil are not triggering this clause to prevent Richarlison from playing, but Chile obviously have an issue with us not letting him go. So they're going to trigger this clause. So that's what I've got to say on the situation. Again, I think it's very, very stupid, very silly, but there we go. So Francisco Sierralta, might not be able to play in the game, and might have to see like a Craig Cathcart Kabasele or a Troost-Ekong Kabasele, something like that. So yeah, very, very frustrating. Watford Wolves, of course, let's talk about the game. Watford Wolves is the game Saturday, 3 p.m. Just a quick note, if you are going to the game, they are asking you to show your COVID pass or proof of negative lateral flow test, and that becomes mandatory from the 1st of October. But they're going to trial out this system for the game this weekend. So if you do have that, if you do have a COVID pass, make sure to take that to the game, so you can show like the stewards on the turnstile or whenever they ask for it. So thumbs up for doing that. But yeah, Watford versus Wolves. Of course, Raul Jimenez also could be banned because of this regulation. So we might be missing out on Sierralta. They might be missing out on Raul Jimenez, which is obviously great. But their main threat is, they have a lot of good technical players, a lot of Portuguese players. They recruit through Jorge Mendes, Portuguese agent. They bring in a lot of Portuguese players through him, from Porto, Benfica, etc. Teams like that in and around Portugal. And they do have a better squad than us. I think that's fair to say. Ruben Neves, fantastic player. Adama Traore is a tank. Like, look at my arms compared to Adama Traore. He's an absolute tank. Bullies defences, but yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough test for Watford. However, I was going to make a video on this, and if you look at our next 3 fixtures, I personally want 6 points out of 9. I think it's doable. I think Wolves, Norwich, Newcastle. Those are our next 3 Premier League fixtures. If we can beat Newcastle, Norwich, or Wolves, Newcastle, whatever combination it may be, I think 6 points out of 9 available would be really, really good. And if we lose all 3, I think that's really, really devastating, actually. So big 3 games already in the season, because those are games that if we want, we're not going to be beating Man City, Liverpool's, teams like that. It's going to be very, very difficult to do that. But if we can pick up points against teams that could be in and around us, that is going to be so crucial to this season. So, for me, it's key that we get something against Wolves and then build upon that. We haven't scored a goal since that Aston Villa game, apart from cup competitions. So I do want to get back to scoring in the Premier League. What team would I go with? It depends on availability. I know Ben Foster's still out. In fact, I've kind of gone nicely into team news there. I'll quickly actually get it up on screen for you now. Team news for Watford versus Wolves. You can see the main man there, João Pedro, is back. He's back. It says he's been out with a knee injury since mid-July and has returned to full training with the first team last week and will be assessed ahead of the weekend. So don't be surprised to see João Pedro on the bench. I think that'll be a real asset for Watford. Ben Foster still out with hamstring injury, a strange one that, but hopefully he'll be back soon. Obviously, he's not our first choice keeper at the moment, but it's always good to have them options if needed. So hopefully Ben will come back soon. And yeah, Daniel Batman hopefully coming back from Austria duty, made a couple of mistakes the other night, but we won't read too much into that. But of course, Daniel Batman currently is the number 1 at Watford. Kiko is a strange one because he come back. What game was it? I think it was Crystal Palace at home in the cup. I think Kiko did play in that. I know we've not seen him since, and it says he was still working with the medical team to recover to full fitness from the groin injury he sustained at the end of last season. So hopefully that's not a recurring injury for Kiko. Obviously, the way he plays is very powerful, very fast, explosive in the runs he makes. So he does need to use his legs, as all footballers do. So yeah, hopefully he can recover from that, and hopefully we'll see Kiko back soon. And also hope it gives Jeremy Ngakia an opportunity to play at right back. So I think he does deserve the opportunity. I know for some reasons Xisco's been playing Cathcart at right back, but if Sierralta can't play, maybe partner Cathcart with someone like a Truce to Kong and play Ngakia right back, because from what I've seen of Ngakia so far, he looks he looks decent. So I think we need to give him a go. Tufan finally arriving at Watford. I think he was out on international duty with Turkey, so that's what the delay was there. I think there was some visa issues or something as well. But yeah, he's at Watford now. New midfield option for us. We were a little bit light there. But now I've got Tufan, Atebo, Sissoko, a lot of players in midfield that we can utilise. Cleverly, Goslin as well. So there's a lot of players there in midfield now. Obviously, Chalobah, Keena, Phillips Inkenagel moving on. So yeah, we've brought in decent quality there as well. And then just at the bottom of this page, you can see there, as I mentioned earlier, it says, in light of the ongoing issues regarding players called up for international duty, the Hornets, along with other Premier League clubs, remain in discussion with relevant stakeholders regarding Francisco Sierralta's availability for this weekend's fixture. So hopefully that can all get resolved. I know I want it to get resolved because I still think it's a ridiculous situation. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say, really. Make sure to tune in, of course, to Troy Deeney's Birmingham City debut tomorrow evening live on Sky Sports, doing a bit of promotion for them there. And yeah, apart from that, score prediction, I want to see a good game. I really think that the next 3 Premier League fixtures are so key. Like, really, I do think they're so key. Now, of course, we could lose all 3 of these fixtures and still stay up. However, I think with Newcastle and Norwich especially, I think they'll be really, really close to us come the end of the season. So if we can take some points off of them now, I think that would be key. And starting with Wolves, if we can win that, I'll be absolutely delighted. But I do think they'll score. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Watford win. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet because the defence at the moment doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, especially if Francisco Sierralta is going to be out. So yeah, I'll go over 2-1 win. And I reckon Cucho will score, and I reckon Sarr will score as well. So there you go. That's my prediction for the game. Let me know your prediction in the comments section down below, and we'll catch you with a match reaction, and that should come out on Sunday afternoon. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.